Welcome to a tutorial in IronCAD. This one is to build a cleaner attachment from two tall Toby's practice models dated May 2nd, 2024. This model is fairly simple to do in IronCAD, but we'll show you how we're going to do this. But we have basically a slot feature on the bottom and a cylinder that's rotated. It's got a reference from a 16 millimeters from the end here. It's got a diameter and a 33-degree angle here. And then we just have a shell that goes through this. So let's go ahead and show you how to do this in IronCAD. Again, we'll just do this with our standard features. We won't do any sketch in our models. So we'll just go ahead and do a slot feature to start off with. And we'll set the size on that. So we have a 50 millimeter wide and it's 104 long. Oops, wrong handle there. This handle, 104. For our length, and then our height on this guy is actually only 9 millimeters. So we'll go ahead and set that on there. So that gives us basically our base for this model. And then we can add our fillet or our blend on our edge, which is 6 millimeters. We can do that. And last, we'll go ahead and put our cylinder on here. So I'm going to place it on the center point for now. And I'll show you how we're going to position this around. So first thing we're going to do is set the diameter of this, which is 35 millimeters on there. And we don't know the height yet from this orientation. So I'll show you how we're going to set the height and the position on this. So what we're going to use is the TriBall to do this. And what I'm going to do first is position it all the way over here to our quadrant point. So what we know is that this part needs to be rotated 16 millimeters from this edge, and it needs to be flat and rotated up 33 degrees. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate this thing down. So I'm just going to select it and rotate it to be aligned with this edge. And then I'm going to set it a distance from, we're going to say edit distance from point, and we're going to select this point or the quadrant point, which we know it needs to be 16 millimeters. So we know where we're located at. That's our rotation location. This is our starting orientation. We're just going to rotate that up, and we're typing that angle, which is 33 degrees. So very simple to get that orientation. We didn't have to do any sketch planes to draw this and spin it or anything. We just use our shapes in our TriBall to position, which is a very handy feature. Next, we can go into our feature, and we're going to say the backward. This is actually extrude feature, so let me show you that. So there's an arrow here telling you this is the forward direction, the backward is the other way. We're just going to go ahead and say set the backward condition to the surface, and we're going to select that surface and hit finish, and it'll extrude down to that surface. So that gives us a nice clean connection to that surface on there. Next, we need to know the distance. So in the drawing, I gotta show you that. I didn't mention that in the drawing. One thing they gave you, so you don't know the height or the length of this, you know it from this top quadrant point to the bottom is 65. So that's how you have to set the distance here. So let's show you how we can do that in IronCAD. So our shapes have a bunch of handles. So we have our size box handles, and if you hit the tab key, it switches to our shape handles. So these shape handles give you a little bit more control on the shape. For in our case, we want to change what the reference location is to be this quadrant point at the top. So we can right click on these and say change the snap point. We're going to set it to a point, and we're going to select up here to our quadrant point up here on the top to show that's our snap point. Next, we want to line our handle or our orientation to be perpendicular to this face, because that's the distance is perpendicular to the face. So we're to say change the orientation to be perpendicular to the face, and now we can set our distance from that quadrant point in that alignment. So now we can just say give me the distance from the bottom point here. So I just select a point. I'm going to pick that point there. That's what's going to give us the value. Then I type in 65 to get that. So that's giving us our true value from that quadrant point to the bottom of this model to be 65. So that's how we can do that fairly easy in IronCAD. Last, we just need to do a shell on this. So we'll just select our part, go ahead and shell. Select open faces, which is the bottom and the other side. And this has a wall thickness of 3. So we'll go ahead and 3 millimeters on that and hit OK to apply that. So that's essentially how you can build this model in IronCAD without any sketch creation or dimensions in their sketch to define these locations inside of IronCAD. So we'll go ahead here and go to our properties, and last we want to go and set our density here to 1020, and that gives us a mass in grams of 37, this model. So fairly simple model to build in IronCAD, just kind of showing you how to do a little bit different without using any sketches inside of here, and it's fairly kind of cool how you can do that in IronCAD and using the power of the handles and the TriBall to position everything inside of there. So hopefully everyone enjoyed this one and learned something new, and we will see you on the next one.